I'm Katherine Elizabeth Abbey, and I'm a targeted individual.
My name is Jill Jensen, and I'm a targeted individual.
I'm Felicia Reed, and I am a targeted individual.
My name is Isauro Cantu, and I'm a targeted individual.
I have a variety of things going on at this time. There are severe physiological attacks, creating misalignments of my bone structure, as well as contortion of my flesh and my organs. I'm getting things like forced eye closure, sleep paralysis. These are the physiological conditions. I'm dealing with some very unusual respiratory issues.
Also, it seems that I get this kind of this ache towards the back of my eyeball here, like they put something in there. I'm not entirely sure. And then towards the back of my nose, there's this pulsating, and it from what I've recorded, the back of my mouth, it keeps kind of going upward, kind of like if something's pulling it up. I did get a few MRI scans. There seems to be some sort of implant in there. So there's a few. There's kind of something attached kind of towards the bottom of the eye. Something behind my nose, and then something in my ears, and then the brainstem one kind of looks like a synchron one.
I've always had a lot of break-ins, but for the past several weeks, I have not had any, which has been really great. I finally figured out the combination of things that will keep them out while I'm sleeping. But I had a funny thing happen last week that seems coincidental. The entire hallway in my building where I live, only on my floor, the ceiling collapsed all the way down the hall. So we were evacuated, and we did not have the option to stay. So my apartment was empty all night. And when I got back, there were plenty of things. And I'm still finding stuff and still cleaning from having them in here all night.
I have to be in something like this, basically something that limits the frequencies that enter where I'm at. That way I'm able to think here. Whenever I'm outside, it becomes very difficult because of the overwhelming kind of frequencies that seem to be hitting the implant.
I run my own business from home, so that has always been a favorite for them to attack. So right now on my cell phone, they are literally silencing me because they removed the microphone from my settings. So there's no way for me to turn it on or off or access it in any way because it's not even there anymore.
I have been dealing with various elements of targeting right now. The continuance of drones. As soon as I step outside my home, the drones are tweeting messages, words, phrases, sounds. And that's just one element that's continuing.
My work laptop quit, and I post a lot on X about what's going on with TIs and things with the FBI and just any news that we see that might be helpful to us. And regularly, when I get back on X, I will see that something I had posted the day before is no longer posted on my page. They've actually deleted it, or they've removed that I liked it. Just weird stuff. On my cell phone, I am locked out of my Apple account. So I can't make any changes to my cell phone at all now. Also my iCloud, because they want it to send, records of what I'm doing when I'm on my cell phone. So I'm not allowed to touch those settings either.
I'm also experiencing them doing a variety of hacking. I'm endeavoring to get communications to people to progress necessary conversations. And this group is regularly engaging in things that hinder the communication.
I am still experiencing contact in my ears. I'm going to be very candid. I'm going to be very open because I can't hide what is really going on. I have been experiencing some cyber abuse on my electronics as well, text messages, emails that don't belong to me that are somewhat directly related to the targeting or something that has happened in my life. I am also experiencing a loss of emails where I am not receiving those daily notifications for groups that I belong to or things that would appear on a regular basis. So just the continuance of the drone activity. I'm also experiencing some EMF. I can feel some electricity around my home and a lot of ear chatter.
It's like this constant pulsating in the back of like my brain, and then like in my ears. I've lost a lot of my hearing. When I was they checked my hearing there in the military, and I've lost like quite a considerable amount of my hearing towards my right side. I think it was 40%, and then I lost 30% of my hearing on my left side. When I'm at work, it gets pretty intense. I passed out before at work, and it kept popping so bad that I eventually ended up kind of like passing out there, kind of like while I was working. Went to the hospital so they could remove it. They don't want to remove them. I'm not entirely. It seems that they get a phone call from somebody, so they don't remove them. So yeah, it's been quite difficult.
I am grateful for the support system that I have in place. I have supportive family and friends. My mother has been a blessing. I regularly talk with her, and she is very supportive of moving forward and doing what needs to be done in addressing issues involved. In terms of combating against the criminal, one of the things that I've recently been looking into, and I hope to pursue more, is getting my documentation certified. I have extensive documentation and I do very detailed daily documentation. The criminals, they surveil my devices, they access my documents. There's been evidence in the phone operations of them tampering with the documents. And they regularly have discussions about the ways they're manipulating the documentation.
For me, fighting the people who are doing this to me has made all the difference. I feel like I'm not just surviving what they're doing anymore. The different projects that I've worked on, going to DC earlier this year and talking to congressmen and senators, congresspeople, it's just changed how I feel about the whole thing. I'm not constantly focused on what they're doing. I'm more focused on what I want to get done and what's important to get done. And it has just changed my perspective, and I highly recommend it. Volunteering in some way. I consider this show a way that I can fight back, educating people and hopefully encouraging other TIs. I just think everyone should find a way that they can help within their skill set, within their region, whatever it is, because it's a blessing to be able to do that?
That's a great question, Derek. And part of being targeted is to harm victims in their brains and in their spirits, right? So my thing is to constantly work on my brain power. I'm just grateful that, I have a good organ. I have a good brain, and I constantly tell myself that's not real. That's not real. This is real. I do a lot of conductive and deductive reasoning with instances around me, with the dreams, with the messages, and I tell myself I work with those attacks and that information, and I say this is targeting, this is abuse. It's very real with it. And I think that also helps the brain to heal and to be able to function, in that if we see it, we know it, we call it what it is, we say what it is, and the brain will respond to that. So I'm constantly telling myself it's not real. It's the targeting, it's the cyber abuse, it's the cyber gang stalking, not sugarcoating it, not denying that it's not happening. That helps me.
Not entirely sure how the tech works. I have ran a spectrum analyzer. It detects a cluster of frequencies. I developed an AI program on my computer using a hack RF, and it detects a cluster of 21 frequencies. So it seems that those frequencies are the ones that interact with the implant.
I also do a lot of energy work, in that I'm praying, I'm working with nature. I use a lot of essential oils that vibrate at different frequencies. I speak to that energy, and sometimes, I'd say not so nice things to it. I go outside, I get in the trees, and I just release. So I do a lot of grounding work. I do a lot of staying in acceptance, that, telling the energy, I did not choose you. I didn't sign up for this, knowing what it is, calling it like I see it, and not hiding it. And that helps me to go through a continuous state of healing, in that I'm not denying it. And it's just real. We're in 2025, and I wish more people would realize that this is what people are doing to people. Um, and it would not be widely done if people would bring it to the surface. So my thing is to bring it to my surface so that my body doesn't, turn it into cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, arthritis, and those deep-rooted illnesses that trauma, they say, can lead to. So my thing is to keep working through the energy in a very realistic approach with natural modalities, lots of fluids. When we are surrounded by electricity or electronics, we need water, we need tea, we need electrolytes. So lots of fluids. I'm mindful of my interactions with others. I stay on a schedule, meaning that I am up by a certain time. I'm at my desk for my work by a certain time. I'm also very active in arts and community work, and I am learning as much as I can so that my brain is receiving other types of information and activities versus the abuse.
Since I woke up mid process while they were shoving this massive, like the stentrode or some sort of thing into my nose, my life's been terrible actually. So these guys actually entered my room. They've stolen quite a few things from me. They stole $300. The other day, I left them inside my Bible. Had to go grab a few things to change out the doorknob so they wouldn't have access to my room. So they must have infiltrated here and then installed a few spying devices or something. Down the road, there's been a few kind of like strange cars that kind of park in the corner. They don't seem to have a purpose. Whenever I go check the mail, there's usually, well, not all the time, but there's like a white van that kind of like takes a picture of me and then leaves, which is really weird. But it's been difficult to cope with this.
I am experiencing a lot in the realm of forced speech. And that, of course, is my professional area. So the group that's on me now, they just thought it was a great pleasure for them to go into voice manipulation. So I'm doing what I can to expose that.
There are a couple of really new things that are kind of fantastic that I want people to know about. Jason Lee, who is the Galactic Monk, he's written a book, and it is called Targeted Individuals Boot Camp: Victim, Survivor, Warrior. So the book goes through each stage of being a TI and how do you work to get to the next stage. It was a very inspiring book, and I highly recommend it. It should be out soon. And I'm taking a class with Jamie Rice through Melissa Miller's Chosen Heroes. And she is teaching us how to understand how the people doing this to us are using our own trauma against us, how to recognize when that's happening, and how to control how you react to it, because they want you to react.
I became aware of websites and conference calls. I became aware of activities and advocacy that people have been doing. So becoming more integrated in the community, meeting people through conference calls and continuing the conversations beyond that, that has been very, very useful to me. And I thank God that I discovered the online community and started to integrate in that way. It's been a blessing and a resource in a variety of ways.
There are so many resources available. There are natural healing centers that we can go to, um, such as working with the energy in the body, acupuncture, salt houses, these buildings that you can go to and get in all this salt, right? Salt houses. What else? There's Reiki and different forms of healing that are based on the body being under the stress of electronics. So it's not always in a prescription bottle, medication free. I don't take any medicine. It, when we are under attack with electronics and frequencies, we need to heal with the same to offset that. So, soft things to the body, such as acupuncture, lots of meditation. Sometimes I'm screaming outside in the trees, true.
I do run a YouTube channel. It's called Blue Scales with a Z. Put my story out there. Um, I've a lot of TIs have reached out to me as well. They're going through similar experiences. They don't know what's going on. Even my cousin ended up getting the implant as well. They ended up inviting him to a party, and these people, pretty much similar situation, they ended up drugging him, and they installed him on him as well.
On the Targeted Justice website, there is a tab that says how to fight back. And there's lots of ideas there, just different things we can do to shorten the duration of this program and also help ourselves as we're trying to survive this.
Um, Tai Chi, Tai Chi comes to mind as well. Those soft movements. I dance, I sing when no one's around, and I get to get that, that energy moving. I work with my chakra line a lot. Um, So when there's electronic abuse, one, we need nature. We need fluids in our body. We need not to overwhelm our bodies with like starchy, greasy, like heavy stuff, even though I like potato chips and I love pasta, but not like just the gulging and taking in and just overdoing it. Also making sure that we take our shoes off and go connect to the ground outside to offset some of the electricity that's around us because of whatever frequency, EMF, or coding that's being done in this conditioning. Connect with nature and electricity and energy in positive ways to offset what is being done to us with the same modalities, but in negative ways.
I'm grateful for the research that has been available. My efforts to become educated on these matters and finding useful things that various people have put together. That has been a blessing.
So if you can control that, you can confuse the AI, which is really fascinating. And she is putting this into a book as well. I think it may be a couple of months before it's available to TIs, but it's hugely helpful. And I hope she continues to do the classes because she's very knowledgeable.
I hope that additional support structures can be developed so that additional resources can be made for people who are suffering these things, because it's so difficult to find people who are knowledgeable and who can have those kinds of conversations.
So I do have a lot of people that kind of reach out to me, hey, what is this? How does it work and stuff? I don't have all that information available, but most of it, the stuff that I do find out, I kind of post the resources there on the Discord server or on the YouTube channel. There's a video explaining the patterns behind how this kind of like this technology works.
So how do we bring together people to put in place expanded support structures? I have vested interest in looking more in that direction as well.
And I highly recommend, if you don't have a regional group, to start one. We started one in Nebraska and we only have 4 people right now, but we rely on each other and we have developed friendships with each other. And it is so valuable. And I want to say hi to the Nebraska group. You guys have kept me going and I truly appreciate you.
I had the opportunity to meet with Jesse Beltran and his team earlier this year and get a radio frequency scan done in the immediate perimeter around my body. And I received a couple of reports back from him, as well as a link to the video of him doing the scan on me. The list of frequencies were then pulled up in relation to the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission registrations. And the frequencies that were coming from different areas of my body, they are associated with military, intelligence, medical research, aeronautics, tracking kinds of things. So I definitely have questions about this. I would like to speak with a variety of people about why are these frequencies coming from directly around my body? How did they get into my body? How are they using these frequencies?
So I echo Catherine's sentiment, and my response would be no, I just won't at this time for various reasons, but just being a little reserved and saying that, no, I'll just wait a little while and see where see where advancement comes and just monitor and pulse the waters. But I would say no. Short answer, long story, short answer, I would say no.
Honestly, I think it's going to be over within a year. I truly do. I'm following the news very closely, and every week they are exposing some corruption that has been going on at least over the last 4 to 8 years. But, we know that the targeting program has been around much longer than that. But the fact that people in the administration know that there's corruption to be found and they're looking for it, I just think things are happening in a really good way right now. So I'm hopeful that they will see what is going on and be forced to shut it down.
I have no particular predictions on this. I do have a sense that we are starting to move into a new stage of addressing these things. I'm seeing some progress take place that does give me hope because it's opening necessary conversation that I hope can be and broadened to show more of the scope of these things. When we better understand the scope and when more people understand that, then we're in a better position to take more effective action. So continuing on with the expositions, I'm seeing expositions developing as time goes by.
I am optimistic every day. Every day I am hoping for change. I'm hoping for justice. I'm hoping for healing. I'm hoping for outreach and support.
I'm hoping the resolution can be found soon. I've sent so many emails out.
I'm hoping that people just show up and say, look, I know you have been harmed. I know that what you're going through. I realize, this has been difficult for you. And they have something for me. They have something for me. They have something called help, unconditional love, unconditional understanding. And I'm really optimistic in saying at any given moment that could happen.
I've tried reaching out to so many people at this point. I'm trying to raise awareness so that there is a way out. Because I don't want to live in a kind of like in a world where people do this to other people, and then there's no solution, no way out for anyone.
I believe it to be every day. I believe it can end at any moment. I know it can just stop and go away.
So I'm gonna try out those resources as soon as I save up some money to go there and try to get that scan going and see how they see what solutions they have to offer.
And so I can thank God for that. God reveals what needs to be revealed in perfect timing, and I'm trusting in his plan as we move forward, that what is in the dark will continue to come to light and have some kind of resolution moving forward.
PACTS International is pleased to present a TI self-help seminar on Sunday, October 19th, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern. Speakers for this event include Nancy Dunnigan, Kathy Meadows, Diana Farinelli, Ken Stroud, Tranquility, Jacqueline Iacovino, Matt Hasten, and Michael Reeves. There will be an eclectic range of topics covered from legal to technical, medical to detoxical, social work to community work. Much information to ponder, consider, and easily apply to your specific situation. Please visit our website, pacsntl.org, for the Zoom link and call-in information. We look forward to seeing you this Sunday at our TI Self-Help Seminar.